Okay, look. You read the title and you might think that this is clickbait. Well, it isn't. Eric Wallace, the man, the myth, not a legend. In the community, Eric Wallace is known as the guy who ruined the show, replacing the original showrunner Todd Helbing. Now, whether that you think he ruined the show or not, it's up to you. But there are some good things about Eric Wallace did as a showrunner from season 6 onwards. Like a fair bit, actually. And yes, there's going to be a one called Bad Things About Eric Wallace's Showrunner as a Flash or something like that. From season 6 onwards, Wallace implemented a new way of storytelling, graphic novels. If you don't remember what it was, instead of one big bad villain for the whole 20 plus episodes, it would be broken down to two, starting off with Bloodwork and later Mirror Monarch, extended to season 7 due to COVID. He did this because previous seasons had overstayed their welcome and he wanted a self-contained story, something like in his comic book writing days. He also stated that him and his wife will go watch and be like, dude, shouldn't you have caught them by now? Clearly he's one of us, and clearly he's talking about Cicada and the Thinker. He just wants a story that picks up the pace of the overarching plot. A little bit ironic that he said it, but we're not here to talk about that. Now that is a brilliant explanation. His reasonings prove that. He is really a big fan, and that being a showrunner gives him the opportunity to have plot lines that are short but very effective. Previous seasons had villains that had a lot of material, except for the Thinker and especially both Cicadas. They had season-long story arcs that had an impact on the show and Team Flash as well. Bloodwork and the villain that come after, while they are big bads, wouldn't do well if they were the one big bad of the 22-episode season, especially the villains that we got like Deathstorm or the Forces. Arguably, Godspeed could have been one singular big bad since that season was very short, but they didn't do that, unfortunately. Overall, this was a much needed change, and I'm glad that Eric Wallace did that. Eric Wallace has some really good concepts and ideas that more or less failed more, but we're here to discuss the positives. With having shorter storylines, it means that Eric can amp up the stakes and make everything just insane. And that leads into good storytelling and how his ideas come to life. Characters like Bloodwork, Mirror Monarch, Post-Crisis, and the rest are some really good ideas. He also uses past DC comic storylines and implements them in a way that is incredibly unique. While some of them he couldn't do due to COVID and the show ending, he has some banger ideas. Season 10, he wanted to do a giant crossover called The Blackest Night, based on the DC comic run. When Deathstorm was defeated in Season 8, it sent some emotional shockwaves that would have alerted a villain called Necron, and boom, there would be a fight. It would have involved a lot of crossovers like Superman and Lois, Stargirl, and even Titans. It would have resolved John Diggle becoming a Green Lantern, something that was hinted at many times. It would have had a story involving bringing characters back from the dead. And then in Season 10, Team Flash will fight someone named Chronarch, a villain from Abracadabra's time, and was hinted at in a Season 8 deleted scene.
The world helped to clean up the Chronarch's mess, so until he gets back, there's no way to reach him.
And then in Season 10, Barry would have rescued the Legends from the time prison. Like, that's such a good idea. I don't know why, but it's amazing. And finally, Despero, a villain from the Armageddon crossover who was defeated, but he disappeared, I think, would have done a full-on alien invasion. Something like the one that we got in Season 3, but I think this would have been, like, up the ante 10 times. Like, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of ideas to put in. Whether it worked or not, it would have been amazing to see these storylines pay off, since they were teased in past seasons. Say what you want about Eric Wallace and how he finished the show, he does think of really good ideas, even if they don't execute really well. In the previous seasons, if you're not Barry, or to an extent Iris, you don't get a good storyline, and Eric uses side characters really well by giving them actual storylines. The more better ones in the show come from characters like Joe facing off against Kramer, Cecile leveling up quote-unquote, Chester proving himself to the team, Allegra moving on from a past. Even Caitlin got a storyline after Frost died. Wally was more in tune with the Speed Force spiritually. Even Iris got a really good storyline, like being a reporter, not the leader of Team Flash. She becomes one, opens up a place, and boom, she just becomes famous. That's all you need. And I'm really glad Eric Wallace changed that, because Todd Helbing did not do a good job with that.
You are not the Flash, Barry. We are.
Barry, however, gets the biggest upgrade. Not in character development, because that's been done in Season 5, but his speed and powers are finally consistent, and he doesn't rely on his team too much. Season 8 did this really well, exceptionally. In the first 10 minutes, we got a scene where Barry got everyone off a bullet train in 12 seconds. And in the same episode, literally outfought a meta who can read minds. Insanely good and consistent. And throughout Season 8 and 9, it never really dipped, And by far the biggest flex is when he ran in his own lightning. He's so fast that he's able to throw lightning, step on it, throw another one, and step on that. All before that previous lightning disappeared. That is such an incredible flex. Better without that stupid lightsabers. It's so creative without being borderline silly for the show. Barry being able to do this without his team telling him, that's how it should be, considering Barry is the guy using the speed. And Team Flash is acting more the team. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but they agree on things, they try to help each other. Unlike in the previous seasons where they argue about the dumbest things, but the last 4 seasons where Eric was showrunner, the team was just more in tune with each other, and I really, really enjoyed that. And they hang out more, and it's really nice to see. Eric Wallace's commitment to comic accurate suit is amazing. The more notable ones would be Despero, Red Death, and Cobra Blue. I think Red Death was amazingly well done, despite her character, and her suit was just amazing. It's like something, robotic and all that stuff. I think it's like Savitar's, but it actually had a purpose. Savitar's suit at first was CGI, but then it made it practical, so it kind of took away the suspense. But Red Death's one was just amazing to look at personally. And Cobra Blue, I thought it was armor, but I'm pretty sure it's just rubber spandex. But anyways, it just looks amazing. And best one is Barry's suit. I cannot stress this enough. That suit is one of the best ones of all time. If there was a if there was a live action ranking of it, I think Barry would be in the top 5 at least. Maybe top 3. It's so insanely well done. And then season 7 topped it by making his cowl nanotech. And it made sense, unlike the Marvel universe where everyone had nanotech. And then in season 8, they made the boots have a purpose to redirect energy. That is so awesome that I'm annoyed about the next thing I'm about to say here. It's Thorne's suit looks so pathetically stupid that I'm annoyed at it. Thorne's reverse flash suit is so painfully bad that I really thought Tom Cavanagh would die in that suit. He looks like he's about to stress out. If he bloats his stomach a little bit, it's gonna pop out. And then what's even worse is the black Thorne suit. Horrible. That was so bad to look at. It reminded me of the George Clooney Batman suit that he has to turn his whole body just to turn his head. That's how bad it was, okay? Jesus Christ, it's so bad to look at. But despite those 2 negatives, comic accurate costumes post, in season 6 onwards, amazing. And yeah, that's pretty much it, actually. There's not many things I could say. I think what he really does well with the things I listed below, he does it really, really well. Much better, in my opinion, than Todd Helbing. I think that Eric Wallace is more passionate in a way in terms of characters and comic accuracy, and I think wanting what the viewers want, which we didn't get, unfortunately. But yeah, I think he does these things really, really well. And obviously, look how it turned out. It didn't turn out too great in my eyes, but as I said, he thinks of some really good ideas, but he executes them in a way that is horrific. I think that's the nicest way to say it. And yeah, I think that's pretty much. I think there might be more things I don't know, or these are my opinions at least. If you have any other opinions, just leave it down in the comments. That would be pretty fun. Yeah, the next video, it was just gonna be the bad things about Eric Wallace's Flash. It's not going to be 30 minutes, okay? Maybe 15 minutes, give or take. And then another video would be rewriting season 4, where I just talk about, DeVoe and all that. So I think that'll be pretty fun. And yeah, bye.